Hey there, and welcome to my channel. My name is Crafty Kathy, and I'm so happy and thankful that you stopped in to craft and spend a little time with me today. I used some of the wood blanks from the Dollar Tree to create 4 gorgeous projects, so let's jump in. The wood blank that we're going to start the video off with is this one that is shaped like an ornament. I'm just going to cut the tag off of it, and then I'm going to very quickly just go over it in a few spots with my little finger sander. You don't have to go crazy with this, just to kind of smooth it out to make sure that it's all ready. I grabbed some masking tape, and I'm just going to kind of tape this off basically in the center part because I want to paint it 2 different colors. You're going to make sure that the edges of your tape is particularly pushed down really well because we don't want any of that paint to seep up under there. For the sake of time, I didn't show myself painting this middle portion. However, I used the DIY paint color called beadboard. And now I'm going to go over the bottom section of the ornament and the top section with the DIY paint color called black velvet. DIY paint is my personal favorite paint, bar none. It's a beautiful outcome every time. It usually only takes 1 coat, and it's clay-based, it's self-leveling, and it's just a beautiful finish every time. Now I'm going to take this other wood piece that I have. I got this from Dollar General last season, but they have these every season. I think they're only $1. They may possibly be $2, but I'm going to paint this entire thing with my black velvet DIY paint. And by the way, if you ever do want to try out the DIY paint or the IOD, the pentart that you see me use, and a lot of the decoupage paper that I use, I get all of those materials from Lori over at Milton's Daughter, and I'll leave her information down below so that she's easy to find. I'm going to take my favorite glitter. It's called Sue Lynn Glitter, and I get this off of Amazon. And it is like an iridescent glitter. It's really pretty. I'm going to go over this while the paint is still wet so that it will adhere really good. You can also wait until the paint dries, apply some Mod Podge, and then put your glitter on. But I figured since the paint was already wet, we could just get that result and cut out a couple of steps and make it just a little bit quicker. If y'all have been around my channel for any length of time, you know that I'm all about getting that same result and just finding a quicker way of doing it. I'm always so impatient because I'm so excited to see what the project is going to look like when I'm finished. I took a couple of these little wood squares that I got from Dollar Tree. I did paint one of them black on the top, and I'm just going to go ahead and glue these down. I just glued it down with hot glue, but if you want a more permanent hold, it's best to use a wood glue or like a E6000. I'm just going to glue my little ornament to the very top here because that way it's going to give it kind of like a 3D effect. I had remembered that the company called Totally Dazzled sent me a little packet of Christmas bedazzled little jewels a couple of Christmases ago. And I found this one that was a snowflake, and it was so perfect just to stick right on the top of this. I made a very simple figure 8 bow with this beautiful ribbon that I got after Christmas last year at Walmart. I think I only paid $1 or $2 for this. And I'm not a huge bow person, but sometimes I like them. And I just stuck it right at the top. The next thing that I'm going to do is take these 2 picks. I got these at Walmart for $1.28 each, which is an awesome deal. And it's got the little pine cone. It's got like a eucalyptus and a frosted pine. I'm just going to cut down the bottoms of these because if I don't, they're going to stick out too much from the top and they're not going to look right. So I cut them about halfway off, and I'm just going to add some hot glue to the back of these, and I'm going to place them one on each side of the bow. I'm going to kind of tuck it up under that bow. Now, when I stepped back and looked at it, I feel like it was kind of missing something. And I have some of that metal ribbon that comes from the Dollar Tree. And I'm going to put this at the very top of the ornament because it just fit. It looked like, you know, how an actual ornament looks. And I thought that it was a perfect touch. I kind of had to bend it down and around it because it was much larger than the actual piece up there. Now at Christmas time, I love for all of my decor to be lighted. I think it's so pretty when all the lights are off. And I just so happen to have some blue colored fairy lights. I get these at Amazon, by the way. And I'm just going to take those and kind of wind it around that little square that I put on the bottom. And then I just glued it in place.
Merry Christmas, baby. Reindeer's coming out to play. Santa Claus is packing the presents, making sure you've been behaving okay.
Now for the second project, we have two trees. The one on the left is from Dollar Tree, and of course it's $1.25. And then the brown tree here with the snowflake in the middle, I found this at the Dollar General the other day, and it was only $1. I love that Dollar General has so much decor for $1, and in my personal opinion, it's a lot better quality than Dollar Tree. I'm going to take the color Aviary in my DIY paint, and I'm going to paint the Dollar Tree with this color. I really like this color for a Christmas tree because it's just a beautiful, kind of muted green. Another quick little tip is I always like to use Vaseline at the very tops of my paint jars. This helps it to be able to open very easily. You know, sometimes the paint gets in those little grooves and it'll harden and you can't get that paint jar open for nothing. The next thing that I'm going to do is just glue my Dollar General tree right on the top of the one that I got from the Dollar Tree. I have this package of different sizes of rusty stars, and I'm just going to place these all around my tree. I put the one large one on the very top, and all the rest of them are just smaller ones. And everything that I mentioned that I get off of Amazon is in my Amazon store, by the way. And that's where I got these Amazon stars. Amazon, you know what I mean. That's where I got these rusty stars. They're not Amazon stars. They're rusty stars. That was one of those moments that I didn't even realize what I was saying until it was coming out of my mouth. And at that point, it was already too late. I just had to say it. When I stepped back and looked, I felt like I needed to place one more right in the middle. Now, instead of buying an expensive package of polyfill at the store, I like to use my old pillows that I'm not using anymore. I just cut it open and tear out some of the inside. And I'm going to take this mirror that's from the Dollar Tree. I flipped it over because if I don't, it will literally blind you guys. I always hate that. And I did take 2 things of those fairy lights and I just taped them down to my mirror. I'm trying to keep it flipped over so the glare will not blind you. And I'm just taking that polyfill or that pillow stuffing that I have, and I'm just kind of tearing it up and placing it around. I'm going to take this styrofoam that's from the Dollar Tree, and I'm just going to glue it right down to the middle of my little mirror. Now I'm just going to go around and fluff up all the insides of that pillow stuffing, and then I'm just going to try to hide those fairy lights just a little bit, but it's not necessary that they're totally hidden. It's mostly the battery pack I'm trying to hide. Last Christmas, I looked for these crystal reindeer all over Dollar Tree, and I could not get a hold of them. Well, this year I come across them, so I think I got about 8 or 9 of them because I wanted several of these for my projects, and I was kind of thinking that they would be gone really quick again. So I'm just going to take him and glue him onto that piece of floral foam that I had already glued down. Then I took one of these Brie cheese boxes. I am a cheese fanatic, by the way, in case you didn't know that about me, and I eat it a lot. But I had this Brie box, and I was trying to find something that was going to sit on top of that other floral foam and be the right size. I just painted this white so that I could camouflage it underneath my pillow stuffing. Now, I wish I was one of those crafters that had everything planned out before I do the project, but I can't function that way. Most of the time, I just add stuff and things come to me as I go along. So I realized at this point I needed to move my little reindeer down to the very bottom because there wasn't going to be enough room for him on the stage, if you want to call it that. So I moved him down to the front of that piece of floral foam, and I took that cheese box that I just painted and I glued it down. I'm going to put some glue on the top of it, and then we're going to take our beautiful tree and place it right on the top of that cheese box. Then I took a few of those little foam presents, and these come from Dollar Tree, of course. I use these a lot in my Christmas crafts, by the way. I'm going to put 2 of these in the front of the tree, and this is going to help to stabilize it just a little bit. And then I took one of those tumbling tower blocks, actually 2 tumbling tower blocks, and I'm going to glue these right on top of each other in the back, and that is going to make a really stable environment for that tree. Sorry, my big head got right in the way, but I had to get over the top of it so I could see exactly what I was doing. And then I'm going to put some glue on the bottom of that cheese box so that I can glue it down to that other piece of styrofoam. Now, I had a tiny piece of a little white picket fence that I got from Temu, and for some reason I thought that it was going to look great right behind this little reindeer, and I glued it down right to that floral foam. I took another pack of those fairy lights, and these also are blue. There's just something really beautiful about blue lights at Christmas. I really like that combination with the blues and the reds and the greens. I'm just going to take this, and I kind of wrapped it around that floral foam. I just kept going around and around until I covered that whole stage. I always take the battery packs and try to hide them in the back, but I always flip it around to where you can see the screws. That way, in case I ever need to change the batteries out, it will be very easy just to open it up and pop one of those little batteries in there. I hid this one in the very back, and if you remember, I had already placed down one other thing of fairy lights underneath this before I ever put the floral foam down or anything. It's just on that mirror. So this is going to be very beautiful, and it's going to glow. I kind of added a few little pieces of that polyfill just kind of here or there, wherever I felt like it needed just a little something extra. I finished this off by adding one last little present right in the front of the reindeer, and then I had remembered that I had bought a pack of like the small bottle brush trees, and these came from the Dollar Tree. I just screwed the bottoms of these off, and I took 2 of them and I glued one on each side of the tree. Then there was just 1 or 2 little spots that I added just a little bit more of that polyfill because it just needed a little touch of snow. And I hope you like this one as much as I do.
It was the night before Christmas. I was closing down for business in my little present shop. When the bell on the door jingled once more, and then time.
The third project is really simple and quick. This is one of the snowflakes from the Dollar Tree, and it's really thick, and I like that about it. I had put a piece of tape on the back of the hole, and I filled in the front with just a little bit of hot glue. Then I took this piece outside and I spray painted it white. Once this piece dried, I realized since it's made out of MDF board, that is a compressed type of wood that's like, it has other additives. It is wood, but it has other additives to it. And it doesn't handle spray paint really well. I noticed that there was a lot of the brown showing through, so I took my DIY paint in the color beadboard, and it didn't take much, and I just kind of went over, especially the edges. That's going to be the main part that you're going to be able to see. While this paint was wet, and I had some more of that glitter that I've got, I just figured that I would just kind of sprinkle what I had on this plate over the top of the snowflake, and then I added just a little bit more so that it would have just like a little light glitz to it. Then I took another one of these small squares that come in a pack from the Dollar Tree while my paintbrush still had the white paint on it, and I just really quickly went over it. I'm going to take that little square and I'm going to glue it slap dab in the middle of my snowflake. Then I'm going to take another set of these fairy lights. Did I fail to mention that all of these projects today are lit, by the way? And I'm just going to wrap those fairy lights around and around and around my little square. And I'm just going to take that battery pack and kind of lay it down to where I may be able to hide it underneath and behind my snowflake. Then the very last thing I did to this was grab one of those big snowflakes. These are out at the Dollar Tree right now. They're $1.25 each. And I'm just going to glue this right onto the front. Now, this already has like a little bit of a glitterisk look about it. So it just went perfect with this. And guys, this is beautiful with the lights out.
It's white outside, and the night is cold. Everyone's lighting candles in their homes. Yes, it's Christmas.
For our last project, I have one of these other stars, and these are from the Dollar Tree. I had already painted this white from a previous DIY, and then I didn't end up using it. And now I'm also going to take one of these small crates that are at the Dollar Tree, and I'm just going to go over it really quickly with my Waverly Antique Wax. Now, I always tell you guys, my antique wax has probably only about 10% of wax still left in there. The rest of that whole jar is filled up with water. So in other words, mine is really, really super watered down. And I like it that way because I like it to be very light. I just went all over my box except for on that back side because I wanted to be able to glue it to my star. And I'm going to take a baby wipe and just wipe off the excess. Now I'm going to put a really good amount of hot glue on the bottom part of my star, and I'm going to stand that star up to where I can make sure that this crate will set up right whenever I glue them together. Next, I grabbed one of these little DIY craft kits, they're called, from the Dollar Tree. And these come out every Christmas. I'm just going to paint this really quick. And at first I grabbed my Posca paint pens because I thought that I was going to paint the trees. But that color is just too much of a vibrant green for me. So I grabbed my aviary and I just gave it one quick coat all over the trees. Next, I grabbed my little red Posca pen, and I'm going to take the little Santa Claus. I'm going to paint his hat and his little coat and his gloves red. Then I took the white paint pen and I painted the rest of his hat, the little pom-pom on the top, and the little cuffs on his jacket all white. I painted the little teddy bear with what was left on my brush from the Waverly Antique Wax. It had the word Christmas or Xmas that comes with the little pack. I painted that white, and I used the little iridescent glitter that I have, and I sprinkled it all over it while the paint was still wet. Then I put that word right on the front of my little box, right in the center, and I'm going to glue the little trees down kind of right in the middle of the star in the back. I put some of that polyfill down inside the little box, and then I'm going to put some hot glue on the front of Santa so that I can glue him right to the very front. I'm going to take a single pine cone and then a couple of those little foam presents. I'm just going to place that inside the box because that way if you want to put candy or whatever in this box, you still totally can. But I figured that I would put that in there so you could see what it would look like as decor. Oh, and I almost forgot to mention that I took one little thing of my fairy lights and I placed them underneath that polyfill. And then I'm going to take one of my large rusty stars and put it right on the top of that star. And I hope you like this one. Well, if you stuck with me through all of today's video, I just want to thank you from the bottom of my heart. And I'm so glad that you came and stayed a little while with me and crafted and just spent some time with me. Guys, don't forget to hit the subscribe button if you haven't subscribed to my channel yet. I would love to have you as part of our family. And if you would, I would appreciate it if you would hit the like button because that really helps me out on YouTube. I'll see you guys back here next time, Lord willing, and the creek don't rise. Did you know that you can click on my face right here if you're on a phone or a tablet and subscribe to my channel? You sure can, and I would love for you to do that. Also, here's another video. If you enjoyed this one, click on that one and watch it next.